So you're gonna do your internship like fall semester or during the
Yeah,
summer?
probably. Yeah, I think what I want to do is I want to finish up all my classes first, and then that way, like I can just focus on the internship, and then hopefully that internship leads into a job right after.
That'd be wonderful, man. That's kind of what I did. So I got married about 2 years ago, um, and moved back down to Vegas. That's where I'm originally from, and reached out to some people, and they're like, "Hey, I actually got a really sweet position with R&D, sales, marketing, and graphics."
Yeah,
And I was like, "Shoot, yeah, let me do it." And they started me at salary. I was like, "What? This is sweet."
that's
So I worked
awesome.
there for 4 or 5 months, and then kept networking, and actually landed a project engineering and managing job with my uncle-in-law.
Oh, nice.
And I've been there for like a year and a half. I started as an intern, and like it's worked out super great.
See, that's what I want to have happen too. That's why, like, I just want to get my classes done. That's what that way I can just focus on my last internship and just try and knock that out of the park, so it leads to like a good job once I'm done with it.
Yeah, and it's smart the way you're doing it too. Is like not doing an internship and then have classes after.
Yeah.
That's a good process the way you're doing it. And you have a girlfriend. Are you guys pretty serious? How long you been dating?
Yeah, we should probably. I'm probably gonna once I'm done after next semester, we'll probably get engaged. But we've been dating for it'll be 3.5 years in a few months.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you get to serve a mission?
Yeah. Well, what happened was, so I went out. Um, I was actually up at Rexburg, and it was like the semester before I went out on my mission. I got like super sick, but I still decided I'll just go on a mission. And when I went out there, I was serving Mexico, and I picked up
Oh
some sort of
man.
bug, and I was on medication to help like stop other stuff. And medication, like, it kind of like stops your stomach acid. So when you get a bug, it's like 10 times worse. And so I
My
ended up
friend.
dropping 30 pounds in a week, 2 weeks. And so they sent me home.
Holy
So
crap.
yeah, and I was kind of like, it took me, it's like, I'm still kind of like having some weird side effects to all that stuff that happened. And, it was taking so long to try to recover. Finally, I was like, I'm not going to like push off school anymore. I just went back to school.
That's smart.
Yeah. And then I'm just finishing online because I'm working on like an iPhone application with a group of people, and they're out here in
Oh,
California.
you're in California, you said?
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. Sorry, I'm listening, paying attention. I just sent in Javier that link to the meeting because I guess he's not getting it.
Okay.
Hey,
How many
I
people?
just made it on. I don't know why it wasn't coming through. Weird.
Hey, Javier. Well, glad you're here. Hey, what's her name? Jess, I think. Jessie. She said she's gonna be a little bit late, so we can just go in and get in touch. So Kevin and I are kind of catching up, getting to meet each other some. Kevin and I are doing the accountability project together, like um, what do you call it, the accountability partners. So we've been back and forth for the last week. But Javier, where are you from?
I am from Salt Lake City.
Oh,
So
sweet. Born and
here
raised.
in yeah.
Nice.
Where are you guys at?
I'm in Vegas.
I'm in,
Born
Nice.
and raised.
I'm near Sacramento, California.
Cool. We're pretty spread out. That's nice.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 3 states. Jesse's got to be from like Colorado or something.
Yeah.
Right on. And what semester you on, Javier?
I guess really my last one. My next semester is just like a bunch of random classes I have to take. So this is like the last actual like course classes.
Good. And then you have what, like 4 classes next semester?
Yeah.
Good, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, I'm excited to be done with it. I'm pretty tired of college.
Same.
Same here. Yeah, I have 2 semesters, but next semester I'm gonna do 1 core class, and then I have like 7 electives I gotta take for the next. And so I'm just gonna spread it out because I'm tired of it.
Right. I'm just getting burned out. Like this semester more so than ever. All my coursework is like case studies and conference calls, so it's just a mess to coordinate that.
Same.
Dylan, I think are we in 341 together also?
I think so. Let's see, which section is it?
Section 2. Well, Jake, yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
Are you talking for the group
Section-
project?
I don't know. I may have you confused. There's so many like email threads going around everywhere. It's just a mess.
Yeah, you might be because I'm in 341 this semester too.
Have you guys started doing the case write-up?
Yeah, I have actually.
Let's finish it up. I don't know if mine's right though. It's
How
kind of
much do
vague.
you end up writing? Because it says under 1,500 words, but that's pretty
Mine?
broad range.
Let's see. Mine is 417. I don't know if that's not enough or. Did you guys take B483 at all?
I haven't yet. That's what I'm taking next semester.
Yeah, that one's you do 2 case studies a week, and then you
What?
meet. Yeah, you meet like I think twice a week in groups, and you do like it's actually a pretty easy class, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's and
That's a
it
lot.
actually teaches you how to like effectively analyze a case study, and you just like fill out this sheet. It's actually pretty easy, but yeah, it's definitely a lot of reading. They're like you have like 14-page case studies, and then you have to like look at all the exhibits at the end of it and make your decision based off like some of the exhibits and stuff.
Wow, that's cool.
And which class was that?
B483.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing that one.
There's
And
international business. That class is just way too much work.
I've heard that. I've heard it's tough.
It's just they've got weird grading rubrics and yeah, similar like case study after case study.
which one is this?
International business.
Oh, okay.
Avoid it if you can.
That one.
Yeah, I took B483 instead of that. I think it's an either or, isn't it? You can either,
Yeah.
well, at least for me it was.
So when I took my accounting class, the first one, I actually loved like the first 3 chapters. I was like, dang, this is sweet. And I've always hated accounting. Got into it, and then after like chapter 4, I was like, oh. Kind of funny.
Tell me we'll do it. Yeah.
All right. He's on board. How you doing, Jess?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good. Doing good, my friend. Hey, so Javier and Kevin and I have just been introducing ourselves and where we're from and a little bit about ourselves. So I'm from Las Vegas, and I've got about like 2 more semesters.
Cool.
And then Kevin is from Sacramento area, and he's got 1 more semester, and he's good to go. He's banging it out. And then same with Javier. He's got 1 more semester, and he is from Salt Lake City.
Sweet.
How about
It's
you,
nice to
buddy?
meet you guys. Yeah, I'm originally from Colorado, but I'm in Idaho, and I got 2 more semesters left.
Right on.
So-
Hey, called it, guys. I said Colorado. Sweet.
That's pretty funny.
All right,
So how you guys doing?
doing really good. Yeah.
Good. You guys enjoying this class so far?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get all my like groups together. It's all my classes require group meetings, so I'm trying to like figure out all the times and stuff.
In here. So, just looking through the activity or whatever, and I guess each week there's a group leader. So if you want, I'll just go through this week, and I can. Whoops. I'll show you guys my page so I can show you what document I'm looking at. But before we start and everything, let's just sign up for the rest of the class, and then I'll submit this to the professor. Can you guys see my screen by chance?
No.
No.
How
No, we
about now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, who wants to do next week?
No, I can do it.
Is that Kevin?
Yeah.
Sorry. Still trying to learn your voice. All right, week lesson 5.
I'll take it.
Is that Javier?
No, Jesse.
Jesse? Oh, sorry.
Spencer.
Then I'll do the next one. We can just rotate from there.
How you say your
Is there
last
only
name?
4 of us?
Yeah. There's one more person, but I don't think they're going to join us because they said that they want to do like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh,
So I was like, well, all of us are good to go for like 6.
okay. 10 o'clock at night, dude.
I don't know how.
How's the case say? I don't know, man. I'm going to bed.
Right? Yeah. I'm up late doing homework anyways, but I don't want to do a group meeting that late, you know?
Yep.
Is this the call that goes on for? Do we have to do this call for an hour? Is that the same class, or am I getting confused?
That's this class.
Oh, nice.
Okay, Dylan, Kevin, Jesse, Javier, Dylan, Kevin, Jesse, Javier, Dylan. All right. So I'll put your emails in there and I'll submit that and get it going. And anyone want to offer the prayer and then we'll get going?
Yeah, I can say it.
All right, thanks.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for this chance to be able to gather over this call and to be able to work on this coursework together as saints in the gospel. We're grateful for the technology that allows us to meet and to be able to discuss these topics. We ask that bless us with the Spirit and that we can seek to learn from one another and be edified and to be able to use these principles in our lives and in our careers for their success, and say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Javier. Okay, so earlier Javier was asking about like if we had started our case write-ups, and I believe all 3 of us have. Jess, I'm not sure if you have, but the requirements are saying to do under 1,500 words at least, and that's quite a bit from what I've seen from other case studies. Other case studies aren't as much, but personally, I've gone through mine, and I've gone through like 5 issues, and we can discuss a lot of them and the issues you guys found. But Jess, did you start yours already too?
Yeah, I submitted mine. You said it's supposed to be 1,500 words?
Well, under 1,500, no more than 1,500.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I don't have 1,500 words.
I don't
Just
think
joking.
1,500, is it?
Sorry, what?
It is 1,500?
I thought it said don't do over 1,500, but I did around like 13 or something.
Dang, yeah, I did like 500.
Yeah, I did like 600. Dude, you're rocking it, Dylan.
Oh, they took forever, but like I don't know. I guess I took it super serious.
Is it because I
Well,
always
kind of rewriting the same thing. Like if you look at the situation analysis and the objectives and the action plan, like those are all fairly similar things.
yeah.
Yeah. So maybe so the agenda is talking about talk about what the case really is, and then questions, and then about facts and about the company. So from what I gathered, basically Mary is this all-time supervisor, right? And this young kid like me comes in bragging about his work. He's trying to get promotion. He gets promotion, and then he goes bosses everyone around, and he's kind of trying to keep up with the big shots, kind of trying to show that, hey, I can pull my weight. I can be a good team member, and you need me on this team, kind of thing. And so it's up to Mary to help gather that motivation, but help him to see, hey, this is a team. This isn't you lead, we follow kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think yeah, he's probably, a bit of a big, like, he thinks he's a big shot, but on the other side, like, he's a huge pacemaker, right? A pace setter. That's his leadership style, and you can really see it. And not only that, but I think he's a coercive pace setter. So, like, I think he has the two most negative leadership styles on the planet, in the fact that, you see at first, like, he wants everyone to do, like, as well as he does. He wants them to be doing their exact best, just like he's trying to do. But then he goes out and, like, dude, I would hate working for a man who, like, in the middle of a meeting says that it's a good thing we were in front of the X Games company, because if we were, that would be a real career limiter. You're a failure, my man.
Yeah. And it kind of seemed like he didn't really take advice from his team, because it said, like, in one of their meetings, his team kind of, like, didn't seem to agree with his ideas. So I don't think he gets advice from his team.
Yeah.
Another thing that might be thing. Oh, go ahead, Jess.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking, like, I can't remember. I know the former brand manager was there for 27 years.
Yeah.
But if he was working as an assistant, I don't know how much of that they worked together. And it'd be interesting. You can assume that probably it's not the case, but if the other brand manager had similar styles, but since the guy had been there for 27 years, he could just kind of pull it off more so than this guy. It's a different perspective to look at it, because it would be interesting to see, like, this, like you mentioned, like a young dude comes in, finally gets a promotion, then he just goes ballistic on everyone.
What's interesting is because the case mentions that the old brand manager actually listened to his advice from the assistant. So it makes me think, like, maybe the original brand manager was, like, more open to hearing other people's ideas, whereas now Simon, he's not really, like, he kind of thinks his ideas are the best and that really nobody else should have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I thought that part was really important, because, like, he kind of had that in with that brand manager, but how the brand manager that was there forever, he, like, experimented upon him. Like, he kind of gave him the shots, and I guess that's what led to the opportunity to build York's confidence. And I guess that's a really good thing about York, is that he had the confidence to be able to go through all this. It's good that he has motivation to push forward, but like Jess said, that pacemaker is a really hard leadership to live up to by, like, the employees.
Well, not to mention, think about that, because first off, if something happens in his numbers, like, like it did in that meeting, he just, I'm sure maybe he accepts some responsibility off to the side when he makes a problem, but it's like, you make a small mistake, and, like, that guy's, like, on you like white on rice. And, when it mentions that the whole team was just uncomfortable and wanted to be anywhere but there, I think it has a lot to do with, you realize that when you got, they probably had their disagreements too, but on top of that, like, they're just, I imagine they were just like, man, if we have any mistakes in here, we're going to get embarrassed in front of all the top executives of the company. and he just calls out right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I was in their position, I'd be like, yeah, let's get this meeting over with and hope that my numbers don't get shown at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Trying to pull it up too, because I found a really interesting part at the end when he was kind of sharing about his personal side, I guess. The last paragraph. So not only did he like set the terms and high standards for his team, but it says that he set the bar for himself, expected others to follow suit, like we've been talking about. But I thought it was interesting how, like, when he had that meeting that Griffin set up, and her assistant was like, "Hey, it's probably about the meeting, blah blah." I don't think that was right that she stepped out of her position and said that and covered Griffin's words. But then how York was like, "Yeah, I really have some good ideas about this co-branding and promotional from this meeting we were talking," and how he kind of suspected and labeled that little interview that he was going to have with Griffin before it even happened, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I imagine he was thinking, you know, because when the bosses call us up, and then of course, you know, you preface the secretary preface it, oh, it's probably about that meeting. You know, you're thinking, yeah, I got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they're totally recognizing that I'm the man. And you know, he sounds kind of a little bit, maybe not arrogant, but he definitely has a little bit of a pride feature on him, you know?
Yeah.
So I imagine he's going in that meeting thinking I'm the best, and she knows it. Funny part is how rude of an awakening that's going to be when she talks to him.
Well, and that's where that workshop thing comes in too, because I think some of the principles from that I mentioned in the thing that in the write-up that some of those principles can be used for Mary, because she's going to have to, because he kind of does have an ego. She can't just like come in and like attack him and say like, oh, that was like you've been doing this, and this wrong. Like she needs to approach it in like a great way to make sure that it actually gets through to him without seeming like she's like attacking him. Because with somebody like him, he's going to believe that he's always right. So you're going to have to like approach it differently when you talk to him. That makes sense.
Totally. One question I had about Mary's personality was like, is she actually going to confront him and like be direct, or is she going to be more like kind of go with the flow and say, hey, yeah, maybe you could do it this way? Like, I wonder what kind of personality of a supervisor she was.
I was thinking too, like, there's the Stephen Covey principle of like seeking first to understand this dude, because you can tell like York is passionate about his job, and so you almost like want to feed off of that skill. And you know, even though he's trampling over everybody and leaving dead bodies, it's with the end goal of like being better at the job. So like it'd be interesting if she were to approach it like following up in the sense like, you know, I know you're doing super good a job, understand his vision, and then feed back into there.
That's a great way to do that. I think to add to that, I don't remember which slide it was, but if you open like as just the document, probably like the third or fourth one, it talks about formulating your feedback, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah.
I focused on that a ton in my write-up so far. There's 4 different steps, I guess. The first one was be direct. Second, identify a specific behavior. Third, state impact. And fourth, caution, meaning like don't describe the person, but like be careful about like who you're talking about, how you're talking about them. And I thought that was good because the way I looked at Mary was, I think in the instruction it was saying, hey, offer your advice of how you can help Mary to improve or prepare a feedback for this kind of situation. I thought that really helped from the coaching workshop.
Yeah. I think if I was her, though, like you guys were saying, I think I'd preface by, and also using that feedback thing, I'd start prefacing saying, hey, I really like how, your work ethic here has led to our business branding being renewed and being able to get a lot of new customers. That's led, and kind of compliment his successes, and then say, the purpose of this meeting, state that goal is to help you become a better manager and team leader, and then start giving him the feedback and say, I want to, I of course don't want to offend you, and I don't want to make you think that your work here isn't appreciated, because it is. But we're noticing that you're acting out occasionally, or not acting out, but that you're
Kind of lashing out.
yeah, lashing out. Thank you. And then give very specific examples. Say, for example, in the meeting, you had a great idea, but when something went wrong with your presentation, you lashed out at your team members, and then they didn't want to be anywhere. They wanted to be rather anywhere but in that meeting, and then explain how that might affect his team's performance in the future, because now they don't really trust him. They're afraid that he's going to make it so they look horrible in front of the management, which means they're not going to be willing to stick their necks out on the line for him, which then decreases the performance of his entire team. Explain not just the actual events, but also the what could be or possibly may be the results or consequences of doing things like that.
I agree.
Me too. And I kind of wrote about that a little bit in my write-up too, and added about like the potential that can be generated from viewing and helping others to be able to see those kind of opportunities. Like, hey, because what is it? York's a new manager, and so like Jess was saying that hey, you got to step up to the plate and kind of fulfill that position as a manager, and help others to find that potential and find those loose ends and foster the abilities that they're performing. Because it's not just him. Like, he's supposed to be a leader.
Right.
And if he's not leading right, how are the other guys gonna help be the team or be a leader themselves?
And why would your team even want to, if everything you do results in him lashing out at you, you kind of lose confidence in yourself, and you'll just you'll lose interest in wanting to work hard for him, because he doesn't seem to be appreciative of what you do or whatever. And if you do make mistakes, he doesn't just sit down with you and he's not nice about it, tells you what you should and shouldn't do. He instead publicly embarrasses you in front of other people.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's slow to compliment.
Yeah.
You could even take an extreme approach too, and if York wasn't able to improve, you want to keep that good talent on your team, but maybe hire a manager above him. Because it seems like York's true abilities are in his creative style and being able to work hard. But sometimes, even though someone's an incredible worker, they can be a crap manager.
Right.
Yep. It's kind of like which paper were we reading? We read a paper this week or last week that talked about a manager who was just like that, and they did some studying on what he was like, because of all the feedback they received from his team. They realized that they were succeeding despite of him, not because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was kind of performing like a solo management, and they said, hey, you know what, we're going to put you on your own project. And he did really well on his own.
Yep. I think that would be a good alternative if what's his name, York, couldn't step up to the plate as a manager.
And he may not even want to be a manager. Someone can still have pull in a project, but not have to deal with the people.
Yeah, I was wondering what his view of what this whole promotion thing was. If it was more of pressure and stress, and the way his behavior is acting right now is because of, hey, this is tough, or if it's more of, I want to be the boss. I don't know what his behavior is.
That's true. And the good thing is he probably is. I mean, there are people who just never make it as good leaders. You know what I'm saying? But the nice thing is you're hoping that he can be coached and helped out. He doesn't realize, because there's a lot of things that we do that often we don't realize that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, when I was younger, I used to rope a lot, and I would be doing stupid things, and I'd be wondering why I was missing. Then one of the pros would come in and be like, "Okay, dude, well, this is why you're missing. It's not because you suck. It's because you're doing one thing wrong every single run." And so, I mean, it's nice to have, because a lot of times people like that, they don't know. They don't even see it. And so it's good to have someone point it out to them and then say, so how are you gonna put this into effect? I think Mary would be wise to say and help him, because she's smart, and this would also encourage him and show her confidence in him by saying, dude, I know you can do this, but what are some ways that you can think of that we can change this? That way this won't happen again, and let him, spit out some answers. Show that she has confidence that he can change, and if he doesn't, well then yeah, she says, you've been a great team worker, but we don't think that management's the right spot for you in the company right now.
It's a good point. One of the ways I like to do things too is like I ask questions, and I like having people try to figure out themselves, but also helping them to see that. So like maybe having Mary asking him questions, hey, how do you feel about this? How do you feel that you're doing as a manager, blah, blah. And then what he says, to find out that perspective of where he's coming from, and then share with him, hey, this is what the team thinks, not pointing fingers or anything. And then, hey, this is what we see as your supervisors, and this is what needs to change. How do you feel about that?
I totally agree. I think it's really smart.
It could be likely, like, sometimes even, what's her name, Mary, like, sometimes managers can be afraid of giving feedback, and York may actually be wanting feedback and receive it welcomely, as opposed to Mary being afraid and never telling York, and then 3 years down the line, York realizes everyone hates him.
Yeah. Touche. I liked that PowerPoint slide said that you should also preface with your fears about how they'll take it, because then it puts you on a vulnerable place, just like they will be in a few minutes when you put them on the fire. And I think that's a really good idea, especially because I'm one of those people that I don't like to go down and critique someone, make them feel like they're not doing very good. And I think that's a good idea, is to say, I'm worried that you that if by critiquing you and helping you, that you might think that I either hate you, or that you're not valued, or even that you might even hate me afterwards, and then it might affect our put a rift in our company or something. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of wanting to change some of my paper.
That is the strange thing, that it's due on Tuesday, because that's why I was kind of waiting to turn mine in to see like what everyone else thought too.
Yeah.
For some odd reason, I thought mine was due. It was all due on last night, for some stupid reason. So I was like, "Oh shoot, I gotta get." I thought yesterday was Tuesday, honestly, and so I crammed, because I had like 2 other case studies for other classes to do. So I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I find out it's due date, so I'm like, "This sucks," because this is really good. I would put this into my paper if I could.
Heck yeah, a lot of notes help too. Do you guys want to meet on Mondays at 6 MST?
Yeah, definitely. Mondays.
Yeah, that's good with me.
All right, let's do that, and then that'll give us time to be able to have better prep in our writing. I like that.
Cool.
I can't remember who offered that idea, but thank you for offering it.
Yeah, that was
So,
a good idea.
So off one of the comments that we were just talking about, like helping him to see where he can change and how he can change. One of the principles that I was kind of like looking at is about establishing the culture. What do you guys think that York could do to like establish the culture more fully?
I guess it depends what culture he is trying to establish. We don't really get too much context of what the other company's culture is. In fact, like whoever the dude is that comes up to Mary and like tells him that York is screwing everything up, can almost make it kind of seem like maybe that is the company culture. It's to like call people out and tell them to go fix it. But I always think like culture comes from the top down. So I think for York to be able to establish a good culture in his team would have to come down from Mary, and Mary like providing accurate feedback and then determining and deciding what the culture should be.
Yeah, just like parents in a family, you know? Like if parents are fighting all the time or not caring or watching TV or whatever it is, you know, like your kids pay really close attention and they totally pick up those habits.
Well, and you know, I think the culture, you see that, like, I think it is a top down, obviously, like you guys have said. And I think Mary's trying to create a culture where it's positive feedback, but also we want your best, you know. But I think for that one manager, I think the culture that, so let me preface first. I think York's culture is, in his, like the culture he's creating, which is against what she's trying to do, is a culture of public humiliation. Because he did that to those people on the floor too. I mean, he went down and said, I mean, out loud to everyone how they're a disgrace, blah, 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 blah. And I think the other guy, just out of frustration, because obviously that's going to affect his whole team and their production, came up to Mary, and obviously he was a little bit fired up and riled up, but at least he went in and in private told her, rather than going out in a meeting and saying, well, you know, York's a big old piece of beep, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, I don't necessarily think that the entire culture's like how York is doing things, but I definitely think that that Mary's trying to create a culture where things should be handled in private. If you have something that's, I mean, you know, if something goes wrong, you try and handle it in private, but you also try and compliment and do those things which will help the teams be more productive.
And yeah, to kind of go along with what you were saying, John, he like, it kind of shows like, obviously he hasn't experienced that before, because he was so mad about it. So I think that kind of gives us an idea of how the culture is previously to when Simon became the brand manager, because, you know, obviously if this had happened before, I don't think John would be as mad. So I think there was like mutual respect amongst everybody, and now I think Simon's coming in and he thinks he's like the big dog, so he's, you know, trying to yell and be a leader over everybody, and I don't think that's how it is there.
Yeah,
I was going to say that too about John. I thought it was really cool that he went straight to Mary instead of calling out York and was like, you dingbat, like, don't treat my people like that. He went straight to Mary and tried taking the established culture route of fixing this kind of situation. I found that cool.
Totally.
Yeah. I gotta admit though, you gotta think about poor John. I mean, think about that. You got a guy that's crossing, so you got your departments, right? And some freaking, I would personally be thinking in my mind, this freaking Nimrod, what does he think? He's not the freaking department head of production. He's part of marketing. What the freak is he doing on my line yelling at my people? You know what I'm saying? I'd be so pissed. I would be tempted just to go right back right there. I think John actually exercised probably pretty decent control if he did. I mean, the case doesn't mention that he went and just yelled at him. But, you know, I mean, to go, even though he was hot, if he didn't lose control and start yelling at him on the line and just went straight to Mary, that takes some serious control. My hat would be off to a person that can do that when someone comes on to my, you know, under to my department and starts yelling at my staff and telling them how worthless they are, I'd be like, you are a worthless piece of garbage. I think I'll just punch you right here and right now.
Oh man, that's a good point. I don't know if I could control myself. I'm the type that is like, I smile on the outside of town, and then on the inside I'm super ticked and I boil up, and then sometimes I try not to snap, of course, but it's like, shoot, man, that'd be so hard not to show frustration on that. But you know, there's a couple leaderships where they say, hey, take the bull by the horns, and sometimes you got to correct in a forceful or direct way, and sometimes that's what's needed. But I don't know, I guess that's a different topic.
Yeah, but that is true. Sometimes you do. I don't know. That would be a tough situation. Could you imagine what kind of fire that would bring? If you had to correct a bull by the horns on that one? I mean, not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying if you had to do that, like that was your last resort, imagine the fire that would be, you know? That'd be a rough way to fix it.
Yeah, from then on out too, not just that time.
Oh, I know. And honestly, if you got someone that's that obstructive, it's not going to be a one-time event either, you know? So you're going to think, man, do I have to do this? Do I have to, like, pick a fight with this guy every single time because he's such an idiot?
And that might be why he went just straight to Mary. He just saw it. Because he kind of called him like a hot shot. He's like, kind of, when John talked to Mary, he's like, yeah, he like thinks he's this big hot shot who comes in. Or he said something like, I know he's this big hot shot, but he has no right doing that. And so my guess is he probably saw it happening again, so he just went to Mary right away so that it doesn't happen again.
That's true, because the nice thing is Mary controls his job.
Right. And you know, it could have resulted in something worse. Maybe John thought, you know, if he does this again, I might not be able to, like, you know, contain everything, you know?
Might give me a red card after this.
Hold me back. Yeah. Have any of you guys been in management positions?
No.
Nope.
No, not with reports like that.
So I had an incident today. I'm in management and it sucked, man. But for the last like 6 or 7 months, we've been trying to prep this system for a shutdown, and it's for wastewater treatment. And the pumps and the system has to be running all at once, right? And I just share this example because it goes really well with this case, and I'm really bad about it this morning. But right, like the day of, the morning of, when we're doing the shutdown, one of the guys says, you can't switch that pump because I didn't set it up that way and I don't have the parts for it. And this whole time, 6 months, I've been working hand in hand, and I've been prepping it all. I got the parts. I've discussed it like 3 times a week with this team, right? And I flipped. I was like, you're kidding me. Get your butt down here and come show me. I just like had enough, because it's just been an ongoing process of like, all right, we need to do this. So we get down there and it worked out good, but I was so embarrassed. I was like, man, I shouldn't have done that. But they like thanked me after. They're like, thank you for taking this serious, and thank you for like having passion and not wanting to like mess this up. Thank you for being strict. But I was like, shoot, because I'm not mean, you know. I hate doing that, but it was weird how it worked out with this case.
They've like woken them up though, because they probably know that you're not somebody who's gonna do that. And so that means like they really did something wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things, like when if I was the one that did something wrong and I got yelled at or something, I'm like, wow, yeah, I'm gonna do my best not to do that wrong or anything else wrong, and I'm gonna watch my corners, you know. I want to be a step ahead of the game, and maybe that makes a good team. I don't know. Not every day yelling, but
well, I think that's the thing. It's like you know how you got those. Now I'm gonna go reverse side, but bring it back to what you're saying. I think you ever hear those guys like that are really hard to get a compliment from, but when you finally get a compliment from them, it's like it's like extraordinary. Like I mean, like you're just like, oh, I got a compliment from that guy. That's amazing, you know. I think the same way. I think on the flip side, sometimes when you got someone that's pretty dang nice and doesn't yell at you a whole lot, when they actually do yell at you, you go, I mean, it's like it shocks you awake. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, oh frick, this guy never yells. So I am really in trouble and better get my head in the game.
Yeah. That's actually what happened is everyone was like, what? And they came up and one of them was like, I've never seen you that mad. But the cool part was being able to lift them up after that. You're like, hey guys, you know what? Let's just jump in and we'll do this. And it's cool how everyone came together after that. So thanks for sharing that, Jeff. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess in closing, does anyone have any questions or comments about the write-ups that they need help with?
Yeah, I got something. So I'm still trying to figure my way around this freaking iLearn, and I'm like totally getting toasted, like every single time I look. But I got some feedback on my thing, and it says I'm supposed to read and watch. So read this like the beginning of the stuff, and I don't know where that is other than what I read, which is like let me tell you what I'm. You mind if I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, okay. Let me do this. Screen share. And which screen is it? I think it's that one. Is this the screen you guys see, the one with iLearn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So like I thought all we had to do like at the beginning of the thing is just read this lesson 3 info. But he was saying like there's like actually something other than like there's videos I'm supposed to watch that we're supposed to watch and all these other things. Do you guys know where all that crap is?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Share my screen.
Okay, I'll unshare.
Was it for like an assignment that you had to watch these videos?
Yeah, he said it was for the case study.
For last week or this week?
For this week, because I wasn't aware we had to write up last week. Well, I was, but I didn't realize it was Tuesday. So it's the one that I submitted this week.
Okay. So wait, you're saying you got feedback from yesterday's submission already, right?
Yeah. Let me see where it is.
Yeah, let me see if I can find those videos and stuff.
You think it's the feedback workshop? Doesn't that have some videos?
Is that what it is?
I mean, I haven't watched any videos. If it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I have the only workshop thing I saw were those slides.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
slide.
so here, let me real quick show you the feedback you gave me. Maybe you guys can make better sense of this.
All right.
So you see this?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, make sure you review the components of a case study provided in the announcement section of the course. Are we talking about like just the normal announcements that pop up every?
Yeah, so that what he's talking about on that is like the first week or the first day before semester started, he made an announcement of how he wants case studies to be written and focused on.
Okay.
And yeah, so like when I wrote my case study, I printed that off and I actually went through it because he says, hey, focus on the what's, the whys, and the hows of the case. And he kind of went into depth, sorry. And then what necessarily when using research material, reference pages needed. So then the last part, you understand the reference page, right?
Yeah, I just need to create like a bibliography.
Yeah, like a works cited. That one's
Yeah.
not too bad. Like write a 1 after your quotations, and then on the works cited page, write a 1 and then your citation.
Okay. Yeah, because I was sitting there like, what? This is the one that really got me. Like, I understand worksite, but I was like, what? There were videos and there was other things. So I was like, okay, I don't know where this is at. So you're saying one was announcement like at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it's talking about the what's, the whys, and the hows. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. He talks about that in his announcement part.
Okay. Cool. And then, did you guys see? I thought I saw something about a video. Yeah. So it says with the case study instruction video. Do you guys know where that is?
I think I want to say I think that's with the announcement.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find that and let you know on that one. Because for the Mary Griffin, there wasn't a video. There was just the presentation on the feedback and workshop thing that
Okay.
Kevin
Yeah.
was talking about.
Yeah. The one with the feedback and the setting goals and all that. That it was like 19 slides or something like that.
Yeah, I
That
want to
right?
say, yeah, it was a lot more slides than that. It was like
It was 40.
40 or
Oh.
something. Yeah.
Sorry, 19 pages, 2 is per slide. Okay, my bad. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks.
No worries. You got anyone else got questions? I think I'm all right. You guys helped me a ton on mine.
Do you guys know, do we have weekly case studies? Or is
Yeah.
it really?
Yeah, so each week, at the beginning of this video, we talked about group leaders, right? So if you want, I'll send that to you guys by email too. That way you have it and know which week. Or at the beginning of the video or whatever, we'll just say who's the group leader if we forget. And I don't mind starting the Google Hangouts each week. It's not that hard. Just type it in an email and starting it, and I'll send out a text if you guys want. But it looks like we have a case study all the way up through week 13. Actually, I think 12 for group leaders for us, and then week 13 is probably like a class case study. I don't know.
Okay, sounds good.
Sweet.
Sweet guys, thank you for the comments and thanks for the cool discussion. You guys are a really good group. Really, you work really well together. I'll make sure to post this on the discussion board so everyone gets credit.
All right,
Nice.
thank you.
Thanks, man. Take
Is
care.
Is that all we need to do for that? For this assignment, I should say?
I think so. Let me double check.
I thought it was, but
I think so. Yeah, that should be it. And then it's asking me to submit the group leader sign up, and that's it. And then just submit your write up. So you're good.
sweet.
All right.
Sweet. All right,
Cool,
guys.
guys.
Y'all have a good night.
Yeah,
You
you
too.
too. Have a great Tuesday, guys.
See ya.
Thanks.
Yeah.